Well, good evening. I'm Reverend Dr. Paul Gretz, and I welcome you to the Emerson Institute class tonight, presented by City of Light. We're coming to you from the Wisdom Center, the Dr. Angelo Pizzello Wisdom Center here on the third floor of our campus at City of Light. This incredible environment is we're surrounded by all these inspirational books, great resources. Behind me, what you're seeing in the camera is just a little sampling of the wonderful collection of resources we have in one of America's largest lending libraries of metaphysical books. We're just so happy to be coming to you from the Wisdom Center, and we invite you, if you're interested in checking out books from our Wisdom Center for your own spiritual enrichment, to let us know. Currently we're closed, but we're open by appointment. And if you'd like to come by and peruse through the books and just select some incredible resources for your spiritual life and your spiritual growth, please let me know. You can reach out to me at revtpaul@aol.com. At any time, let us know, and we'll try our best to schedule one of these great appointments for you. All right, we're going to begin tonight's class, and as we do, what we'd like to have you do is join us in taking some deep breaths. We're going to breathe together, and we're going to release all stress and distraction and allow ourselves to be just focused. In fact, refocused on the inner essence, and allow the Spirit of God to speak to us in a very special way. So would you join with me in taking 3 deep breaths? We're going to breathe in through our nose, hold for a brief moment, and then release through our mouth. This is just allowing us to reset that vibrational frequency and allow us to be greater in tune with what the Spirit has for us. Let's breathe together. Breathe in and release. Deep breath in and release. Deep breath in and release. And in this moment of silence, please set your intention for that which you desire to transpire in your life during this time that we share together. Just whisper that desire. And so it is. Well, welcome to tonight's class. This is the second series of 8 weeks, and this is class number 1. So we're beginning.
Yes, and as we begin, we would like to say happy anniversary and congratulations on 20 years of service as senior pastor at City of Light.
Well, thank you. This is Dr. David Carter, our registrar here at Emerson Institute, and just sharing congratulations on 20 years. Well, I'm thrilled to celebrate today 20 years of service here at City of Light, and a wonderful collaboration working together with a fine congregation, people with great vision and passion, and people who are desiring to grow spiritually. I love that. I've never pastored a congregation with so many people with a doctorate in metaphysics or a doctorate in spiritual education and spiritual studies. It's just been a delight to be part of a congregation that's truly seekers of wisdom. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So again, this is the second series of 8 weeks. This is our first class in this 8-week journey, if you're joining us. It's all based on the book, The Neville Reader. We're continuing on in the next few chapters of the study of the writings of Neville Goddard. These writings are so powerful for us because they're really the inner thoughts on the power to create an abundant life. Neville does a great job, a sensational job, really, of explaining the power of imagination, how it ignites our faith, and how it enables us to be great manifestors in our world. So this is class number 1 of this 8-week series. If you're taking it for credit, we're going to begin this new series for 2 credits for the 8 weeks that we journey together. If you'd like to take a class for credit through the Emerson Institute, please reach out to me. We'll connect you with our registrar, Dr. David Carter, who will help you get enrolled in our classes for credit, and your journey to achieving your degree, whether it be a bachelor's, a master's, or a doctorate in metaphysical studies, will be yours. We'll help you along that pathway, because one of the things that we're so passionate about here at City of Light is being seekers of wisdom. Above all else, above everything else, get wisdom, is what the Bible says. And that ancient truth resounds through our hearts and our lives, because we realize that what's the most important thing we can do in our life but to get spiritual understanding, to know how to live our life to the highest and best. So let's dig in tonight. We're beginning with the chapter entitled The Law of Reversibility. So let us use the master key. Now, do you know what a master key is? I'm sure you may have one in your home, or you may have one if you were working in an office. We have one here at City of Light. And that master key fits in every door of the building and enables me to have access to any office or location throughout the facility. So that master key enables me to claim and have access. And prayer is just that. It's the master key to everything. It's opening up everything within your life and the key to having access to that which you so desire. Prayer is an art, and it truly requires practice. The first requirement that we really want to understand, and a craft that we really want to hone, is controlled imagination. We want to be able to visualize, control the imagination of the mind, that we're going then in thought and in mind, moving ahead, advancing to the desired result, and holding in mind that in our imagination. That's the first requirement. It's going to help us because that's the power of faith at work. Faith is not the world of maybes. Faith is not the world of I'm not sures. Faith is not something that's wavering and moving back and forth from one decision to the other. Faith is consistent, it's confident, and it's the assurance of things hoped for. So we want to move in that confidence and that assurance. We want to move through the power of imagination to seeing the end result of that which we desire to be true. One of the key things that we want to check first in our prayer life is that we're not just using vain repetitions. For prayer is done in secret, and the Father which sees in secret shall reward thee openly, the scripture says. But too often those who practice the art of prayer are more concerned with, I got to know the beautiful words. I want to speak eloquently. I want to really be very picturesque. I want to give it in the air of formality and ceremony. And I want to do all these things just to make my prayer so beautiful. Let me tell you this. It is more about that which is coming out from the heart in pure intention than it is about the beauty of the words that you've chosen. So let's not be so concerned about the formality or the style, shall we say, as being concerned about the intention in our prayer life. Because prayer should focus on heartfelt intentions, feeling it. I feel this. I feel the answer. I feel that which I proclaim to be true. I'm feeling it with a great intention and desire to say, and so it is. It is. That faith says, I see it already accomplished. The essence of prayer simply is this word faith. And faith must be filled with understanding for it to have that active quality that brings about manifestation. Our faith is only as strong as the level of our understanding. So that's why here at City of Light, we're so passionate about spiritual enrichment, about classes that help you glean greater understanding, to help you really embrace the truth and to say, aha, I get it, I understand it fully, and I comprehend how it works within my life. So faith must be filled with this understanding, this knowledge. But along with all the knowledge and understanding, we've got to have the feeling coupled with it. It says, I know this to be true. I have the knowledge and understanding, but I couple it now with this great feeling within me that says, I'm assured that which I desire, that which I've claimed to be true, is true. Scripture says, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Truly, that's what it's all about. Let's be seekers of wisdom. Let's be those who are so committed and desirous of this. About 20 years ago, I sat out on my patio on the early morning, and I just felt so inspired in my devotional time to just cry out, I want wisdom. And that began a journey as a seeker, one who just says, I want to covet greater understanding. I can't get it enough. And that which we put out in the universe into desire and intention, the universe was drawn to me, bringing to me that which I so desire. I found so many amazing experiences where I would find those who would be a teacher for me, or encounter a book that maybe I had a burning question, and I would go to the spiritual section in a bookstore and I would open up a book. Oh, wait a minute. This page number 89 is just describing exactly the answer that I've been looking for. I found so many experiences like that that were just so not coincidental. They were truly aligned. They were synchronistic with the desire of my heart to be a seeker of wisdom and to know more. I'm ever grateful for launching that journey. I continue on it today. I don't know everything. I know that there's so much more for the universe to unfold for me. I'm looking for greater and greater understanding each and every day of the journey of my life. I am so appreciative of the unfolding of wisdom that the Spirit of God, the divine essence, is unfolding within my life and is available to unfold in yours. Now, this section of this chapter is an attempt to reduce the unknown to the known by pointing out the conditions on which prayers are answered and prayers not being answered. So let's look at this law of reversibility, because that's really what we want to understand here. That if you know how you would feel if you realized your objective, then inversely, you would know that this state could be your reality if you were awakened to that feeling. So if you said, I am claiming healing, and I know what my objective would feel like, and I am awakened to that feeling, then that becomes our reality. So faith is that which is expressed in feeling and in knowing, to say, this now is my reality, and it unfolds from that perspective. There was a Roman centurion that came to Jesus, and he said, Jesus, just speak the word, because I know you don't have to come to my house. You don't have to come to my home. I just know that if you speak the word of healing, my beloved slave, my beloved servant, my beloved boy, as it's called, even in the Greek language, is the one who will receive this great healing. I already know this. I know it so much that I've come to you with a solid sense of knowing and feeling that it is so. So simply speak the word. Jesus said, never have I seen in all of Israel a demonstration of faith quite like this. This truly is the pure example of great faith taught to us in the ancient text through this story. This is the great example where you begin to say, I live as if that which I'm praying for is already here and already accomplished. To pray believing that you already possess what you pray for is based on a knowledge of the law of inverse transformation. Now, Neville Goddard's trying to explain us a little bit of science of the mind for us. We appreciate that because we know science and spirituality are coming together in a sense of oneness. Quite often we have people of different religious groups that would say science is in conflict with religion, but science is not in conflict with spirituality. We're discovering more and more that how much they are aligned and how they are working in collaboration, and that science is explaining spirituality and spirituality is explaining science. So it's a science that reveals these things, that if heat can produce mechanical motion can produce heat. That's science. If electricity produces magnetism, magnetism too can develop electric currents. So if it can do this, it can do that. The cause that can bring the effect is the same, and so the effect can bring about the cause. When we think about this, we understand, we see that they are interconvertible. You can exchange them. So we know that heat can produce motion, mechanical motion, and mechanical motion produces more heat. So we know that electricity produces magnetism, and magnetism can develop electricity. So we understand this exchange. This law helps us understand that if you foresee or hold in mind the inverse transformation, or you hold in mind the desired goal, the direct transformation, the desired goal then becomes your reality. It's just simply verified. The direct transformation becomes verified within. So what we want to understand then is that there is this wonderful connection. If your realized prayer produces in you a definite feeling or state of consciousness, then inversely, that particular feeling or state of consciousness must produce your realized prayer. You see how that works? It's interchangeable. If in your prayer you realized this definite feeling, and this became your state of thinking and awareness, then that state of thinking and awareness is going to produce your reality. So if you say, I think I can, how about I know I can? I feel I can. And in that proclamation, and in that power of believing, and in that great faith, the I can becomes your reality. It's just that simple. That's the power of faith at work. We don't utilize it enough. We don't understand the power of working and exercising faith on a day-to-day basis. We're called to be people of faith. We're called to be exercising that which we believe to be true every single day of our life. So I want to encourage you to find these opportunities to express in faith the power of believing. I know I can. I feel I can. And thusly, I know I'm living in the realm of I can. And that is my reality. So whatever it may be that you desire, take on that exercise of experiencing your faith at work, that you're living the realized answer to your prayer. Now, if your realized prayer produces in you a definite feeling or consciousness, then we know that it's also going to produce this in your realized prayer. Why? Because the transformations of force are reversible. You should always assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. And this is what's making this transformation. If I believe it is so, then what I believe it is so is so. It's that wonderful yin and yang. It's cause and effect. It's creating the cause in faith and knowing I'm living in the effect, and the effect is creating even more of the cause. So we find this back and forth exchange. Now spend time then contemplating the joy that would be yours when you receive your answer. Define this joy with a feeling that is so clear and concise. What does it feel like? What does it taste like? What does it sound like? What does it touch like? What does it smell like? What does it look like? We can't go over and over these things that help us define with great clarity that which we desire. When we understand this, we understand why imagination is crucial to our spiritual life. It brings about the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I am imagining I'm prosperous. And I'm living then with the consciousness, the awareness, I am prosperous. So consequently, what is going to be manifesting? Prosperity. It's just that simple. When we embrace the feeling of the wish fulfilled, well, then it is assumed and sustained within our lives. Because faith is the substance of things hoped for, says Hebrews 11, for the evidence of things not seen. So we have to say, what is this ancient truth talking about? It's that there's a substance of things hoped for. All right, do we have a question coming in?
Yes, from Holly Hill.
Holly Hill, great.
Is this like feelings of gratitude leading to greater prosperity?
Certainly, we want to feel this, and I think when we top off any feeling with gratitude, we sort of seal the deal. I love that. So if I'm saying I am feeling prosperous, and I'm going to seal it with a sense of gratitude, I'm so grateful for the prosperity that I have. I am thankful even now, because usually we express appreciation after receiving something. In this case, we are expressing gratitude and appreciation in advance of receiving it, knowing that it's already there and it's already unfolding for us. The desires of our heart are known to the universe before we even ask. So they're already out there. They're already there. What we have to do is just be living in the realm of, and so it is. And the best way to get there is with gratitude, thanksgiving, saying, I'm so thankful for my prosperity. I'm so thankful already for the blessings, or I'm thankful for the healing, or I'm thankful for my success, thankful for loving relationships, or that which I've been praying for. I'm thankful for the answer. I receive it now, and I live in the mindset, in the consciousness that the answer is already unfolded for me. So I step into the answer. It's already been created. It's already been manifested. So it's like we step into living from the answer already being manifested within us. Romans chapter 4, verse 17 says, He calls things that are not seen as though they were. Right? Things that are not seen, things that we can't see in the physical world. He is speaking or calling them out, claiming them as though they were. And things that were not seen become seen. Wow! The writer of this beautiful book of Romans is writing to the church of Rome, describing exactly the power and the authority we have as people of faith to call things that are not seen as though they are. And then the things that were not seen become seen in the physical realm, within the physical world. So as we begin to name and claim things, begin to believe with such intensity and strength, having this faith to say it is so, it actually transpires within our life. We have another question coming in.
This is my question. So when you live from the end, that's in essence calling the thing that's not seen.
Yes. Your living from the end is calling the thing that is not seen as if it is seen. So it may be in a case like, maybe you're looking to buy a house. So you begin to visualize that you're already in the house of your dreams. You already have it. What does it feel like to wake up in the morning in that house and go downstairs and get a cup of coffee and sit outside looking on the patio, or to gaze out your kitchen window? What does that feel like for you when the doorbell rings and it's company coming in and you've got dinner all spread out on the dining room table and you're sharing hospitality? What does that feel like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? Engage this as if you are living from the end as so it is, knowing that the answer is already there. And you are now at perfect peace, celebrating, and you're living from that place. And that's the joy of great faith. Peter was invited to get out of the boat and to walk on water. Now, that's really, how do you walk on water? That's really calling forth things that are not seen as though they are, as if there's some sort of place to put your feet and to stand above the water. He stepped out with such great faith. He believed. That faith sustained him, and he was able to walk on the water. This beautiful story, not to be taken literally, but describes exactly what happens in our life. Yet at the same time, when his faith began to waver and he looked down and began to question and began to wonder, and no longer was living as if, no longer living from the end, no longer living from the realm of yes, it's possible, he began to sink. You see, that's the story of our lives. When we step out in great faith, climb out of the boat, and begin to walk around above the chaos of this world, the waters that may be very chaotic of thought and consciousness and all those things that may say, it's not possible, you can't do it. But you step out to walk above that, to rise above that, in believing it is possible. And you hold on to that. And you walked as if it is, and it is. It becomes that which you so desire it to be, because you're living already from that perspective. Now, when we challenge that and begin to doubt it, of course, we begin to falter. We sink. We fall back into the consciousness of this world, the thoughts of this world that are all chaotic and negative and stress-filled and worry and fear-based. Well, we want to rise out of all of that. What the Bible is telling us is that if a physical fact can produce a psychological state can produce a physical fact. It is that wonderful law of reversibility, that if one can do this, the other can do that. So when we understand that fully, we think clearly what the Bible has been trying to share with us. We can think about it and comprehend. Yeah, this is exactly what faith is. That if I can produce a psychological state, then this psychological state can produce a physical fact. So the Bible is telling us this over and over again, and it's either this or that. It can flow back and forth with each one of these, that if I really hold in mind this thought, it will produce the fact. If I hold in mind this fact, it'll help me produce the thought produces the fact produces the thought, and it's like this wonderful tennis game going back and forth, and it's going back and forth in this wonderful way of elevating you higher and higher in the wonderful exercise of manifestation and the exercise of great faith. Now, if the effect can be produced by the cause, then inversely, the effect can produce the cause. So, if the effect, which is success, can be produced by the thought of success, then inversely, when you are experiencing success, what's it going to produce? More thoughts of success. And the more thoughts of success are going to produce what? More success. And when you are in more success, what will it produce? More thoughts of success. And here we go, back and forth and back and forth. And so it is the same. Because the scripture says, to he or she who has, more will be manifested. More will come. And to he or she who believes they don't have, they will lose. In fact, maybe even lose it all. So we're paraphrasing an ancient truth that simply says, if you believe you can, you start moving into the realm of I can, and you do. And the more you do, you say, the more I can. And the more you say I can, the more you do, and the more you do, the more, and it begins to raise over and over. So he who has much, he who believes they can, and holding onto, shall we say, the much being I believe, and a heavy dose of I can, I'm going to manifest that I can. And in manifesting that I can, I will then accelerate to more belief in that I can. And as I have more belief in I can, I will accelerate the manifestation of I can. And the opposite is true. If I believe I can't, you accelerate, yes, you're right. There's more that you can't, and more that you can. And as you get into the feeling of less, and I can't do less, I'm now going to manifest more of that. And it goes in a downward spiral. All right, there's another question coming in.
Okay, just a comment. So, take for instance my weight loss. I believe and I'm determined to lose the weight, so I start doing the things that will help me lose the weight. And every time I get on the scale and see that I've lost some weight, I get more and more excited about losing weight. So I'm even more encouraged, and I keep going.
Yes,
yeah.
It just accelerates, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can. You go, well, I can lose weight. Well, this is easy. And before you know it, it becomes easier. Yeah. And we begin to shift a mindset. It changes with this first step of moving to the I can, or moving to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So the more you begin to say, I'm invigorated and I have energy today, the more energy you will have. And the more energy you have, the more you'll say, I do feel really invigorated and more energetic. And the more you feel that, the more energy you will have. And so it just goes back and forth. This is wonderful explanation of how the power of faith works for us. So when we get this, we understand that what things you desire when you pray, believe that you have received them, and you shall have them. So the key is believing you've received, and the word is received, not receiving or hoping to get, but you've already received them. So you're already at the place where you say, I've already received my healing. I've already received my prosperity. I've already received my blessing. I've already received this job I'm believing for. I've already received this wonderful relationship, whatever it may be that you're seeking. I've already received it, and I'm living as if, and you shall have them. How beautiful that is. Simple exercise for our lives. Let's go on to the next portion of our study tonight, and the chapter is on the dual nature of consciousness. A clear concept of the dual nature of man's consciousness must be the basis of true prayer, says Neville. Consciousness includes the subconscious, and the conscious minds. Let's break that down. The subconscious is the most important part of your consciousness. It is the cause of voluntary action. The subconscious is what you are. It's what man is. The conscious is what man knows. So there's a lot of things you know, but really what you are is coming from your actions. Because a lot of people may know all kinds of things, but they don't act out on them. They don't really believe them. They don't really live from them. We all know the passage of scripture that says, with God, all things are possible, right? But do we act subconsciously from that perspective? You see, there's a big difference there, that you may have knowledge, but then what part of that knowledge is so embodied in you? Shall we say that it becomes the very place that you live from? Do you live every day from the perspective that with God all things are possible? Or are you struggling in worry and fear and stress? You see, we want to come to that subconscious place, this dual nature of man's consciousness, of subconscious and conscious. Subconsciously, we do a lot of things. We may scratch our nose. We may walk the streets with foot moving in front of the other foot, with subconscious mind just taking action, and that which is moving forward in the subconscious without a lot of thought about it. And sometimes we respond to challenges and experiences from the subconscious. And if our subconscious is filled with fear, doubt, stress, and worry, that's what's going to rise first. But when we fill the subconscious mind with the wonderful essence of knowing coupled with feeling, we layer it in there. I love that. It's sort of like, I know this to be true. I feel it to be true. It's now the place that I live from. I live from that state of thinking. Passage of scripture says, I and the Father are one, but the Father is greater than I. And we're going to talk about that in a moment because we got a question coming in. All right?
I have a comment from Josephine Torrijos.
Yes, all the way from the Philippines.
Right. She said, I like listening to your Bible stories, especially because you explain that God is spirit and we are made in his image and likeness. We are in essence of the divine spirit. Some religions, especially here in the Philippines, tell people that God is somewhere up there in the sky. That's why most people here in my country are not empowered and do not feel worthy and are mired in poverty and easily controlled and manipulated by politicians.
I love that. Thank you. It's Josephine, right? I appreciate you sharing these comments, as well as any of our students. If you want to make a comment, please know that our registrar is monitoring the Facebook, and if you want to share something in, you're more than welcome to, or ask a question, because we'd love to be in contact with you. I love these comments. These are excellent, and I love the classes sharing. And all the way from the Philippines, we're glad to have you as well. Wherever you may be around the world, we're glad that you're joining us in our study today and appreciate all your comments. Thank you so much. Now let's take a look here. I and the Father are one, but the Father is greater than I. What we're saying here is that Jesus is describing our relationship, that you and the Father, which is the divine source of all good, Father, being just symbolic of that concept of a divine source, a provider, something that is very generous and loving. So the word Father is used symbolically to describe I and the divine source. We are one. There's no separation here. But the divine source is greater than I. Just as we may say, we are a revelation of God, but we are not the totality of God. We illustrate it and say that we are all waves in the ocean. We're a wave, which within that wave has all the essence of the ocean, but does not have the totality of the ocean. So we say, I and the Father are one, but the Father is even greater than I. I may be this expression of the divine, but there's even yet more, because you're an expression, and you're an expression, and you're an expression, and so each and every one of us are an expression. So there's so much greater than just me. The conscious and the subconscious are one, but the subconscious is greater than the conscious. Jesus is speaking to this level, that the subconscious, being that inner source within us that we can go deeper and deeper to tap into, to awaken within us. It's our true nature. We're created in the image and likeness of God. That image and likeness is not a physical likeness. It's the very character, the likeness of the character of God. Love, grace, mercy, compassion, forgiveness. That's the image of which we are created in. And when we understand that our conscious mind is what we know, but the subconscious is what we truly are. I truly am this divine presence. I truly am God here in this moment. I truly am that which we call infinite possibilities. I truly am infinite wisdom and knowledge. That's who I really, really am. Not this physical body, not just the limitations of what I may think I know. Oh, but there's so much more to tap into. So what we want to understand is that the Father, which is the subconscious, does the work. The subconscious is that which is in which everything is known. The subconscious is that in which everything is known, in which everything is possible, to which everything goes from, to which everything comes from, and comes to, and which belongs to us all, and to which we all have access. Pretty amazing when we think about what our possibilities are, as we understand the subconscious. Subconscious is that which taps into the divine source. So much to be lived and to be brought forward, to bring up to the surface, to allow to just radiate from us, to manifest from us, to just ooze out from us. The divine character of God. So much love could be oozing out. So much grace oozing out. So much compassion flowing out. So much of the spirit of forgiveness, patience, kindness, all flowing out. Generosity oozing from our very being. You see, that's what's all deep within this wonderful subconscious. Now, the whole of creation is simply asleep. Asleep within the deep of man, and is awakened to the objective existence by his subconscious assumptions. So prayer, what it does, is modifies or completely changes our subconscious assumptions, our beliefs. And a change of beliefs or assumption is a change of expression. So we change our thinking, we change our world, we change our thoughts, we make a big transformation in the world around us. We change our beliefs. If you could just let go of some of these beliefs, and one of the most difficult things is to unlearn some of the crazy things that we've learned in life. We've been taught some of this bizarre things, and we've got to learn, how do I let them go? Let me release them. I think we have a comment coming to us from Anne, one of our students in our classroom.
So take us from the point where the subconscious throws a negative thought out to us. Now, the greatness of that process is that we know consciously there are no limitations. And so we can consciously turn that negative thought to a positive thought.
That's correct. So we change our thinking.
So same process, the
yes.
right process. Okay.
So that which we may see manifesting from us, from a negative nature within us of the physical world that we've embraced, we want to change that to the spiritual. We want to make this transition from a physical to a spiritual thought. Physical world of the world of five senses and limitations. You may be thinking about, well, I can only see this, I can only touch this, so this must be my reality. But I'm going to switch now, make a transition, a transformation of thinking. I'm going to release this belief that holds on to limitation and move into the realm of the spiritual. And I'm going to welcome the believing of the infinite possibility. I'm going to change from the negative to the positive, from that which seemed impossible to that which is possible. And how beautiful that transition is. And prayer helps us to make that transition. The conscious mind is all consumed with the physical. The five senses, the limitations. And it finds it difficult to believe that what the five senses say cannot be so. So the conscious mind releases, a sense of being well thought out from observation, experience, and education. That's what it's always doing. It's limiting. Now, the subconscious mind, it reasons deductively. It means it's based on a law and is never concerned with the truth or the false of the premise, but proceeds on the assumption or the belief of the correctness of the premise and brings about correlating results. Okay, here's the difference. The subconscious mind is responding on belief and the very laws and principles that we've embraced within our lives. Law, sowing and reaping. The subconscious mind will respond deductively. Yes, if I sow, I will reap that. So if we believe that fully, but a lot of us, well, we don't really believe that fully. And that's our challenge. So what happens is the conscious mind clouds over the beauty that wants to rise from this subconscious mind. So now the subconscious mind begins to just reveal and unfold that which you really believe to be true. So this is why we find in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7 says, as you believe, so you are. Or as a man or woman thinks, so is he or she. As you think, if you believe it to be true, it is true for you. So this is why it's so important that we go through and look at and ask, what are our beliefs? What limiting beliefs are we holding on to that are keeping us from achieving our highest and best? It's great to do a little belief inventory. Going through and saying, wait a minute, I realize I was kind of taught certain things and they're sort of deep within my believing system, and I need to do my best to let them go. I grew up in a preacher's home as a pastor's kid, where they felt it was really important that we might live out our spirituality to the best if we were simply just mediocre, average. Not looking to excel, because if you were to excel into greatness, well, you might get a big head and you'd be proud and haughty, and that would cause you to stumble. So the best is just mediocre or average. Don't think too big. Don't think too great. That was sort of a way of living in life. Also, there was a sense of that we need to be afraid of our prosperity or God's blessings, because being in a pastor's home, people might say, wow, the pastor's a little bit too blessed. Maybe I need to cut back on my tithes or giving and supporting of this ministry. I see the pastor's wife, she's wearing a new dress. Maybe we are just giving a little too much. And there were a lot of people who just believed that, embraced that, and I kind of grew up with that thinking that somehow we need to hide our prosperity. Well, we don't want to flaunt it, we don't talk about it. But wait a minute. Isn't our prosperity a demonstration or a manifestation of our true believing and of God at work within us? I'm not saying we go around bragging about our things, but we don't need to be ashamed of them either. My mother would buy a new dress. She'd hide it in the back of her closet for several months. When she finally chose to wear it, someone said, oh, a new dress. She'd say, no, it's just something I had in the back of my closet. You see, she was afraid to actually say, God has blessed me so much that I bought a new dress. I'm in the blessing mode. I'm in the consciousness and awareness of prosperity. And I have the freedom and ability to be generous and to express blessings and to show in a way that to the world that I am letting my light shine of my true belief. Well, her true belief was, you better not let anybody know that you're prosperous. Well, that became one of the beliefs that I have to let go of. We have a question coming in or a comment?
A comment coming in from Josephine.
Yes.
I believe that divine spirit is all or nothing, all of everything, has no beginning nor ending. I don't believe there is a conflict between our divinity and science, because what science refers to as universal energy field is in essence divine spirit.
Excellent, excellent. Appreciate those comments. That was really great. I hope you're hearing David Carter's voice, our registrar, as the mic is picking that up, because that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Exactly. You get an A. There you go. Great job. I appreciate it. Prayer is the art of believing what has been denied by the senses. What deals with the subconscious, you see, through the affirmative prayer treatment. This prayer treatment, the subconscious is suggested to the acceptance of the wish fulfilled and the reasoning deductively, and then it unfolds it to be true. So what's happening is what we're feeding in, what we're treating is all this doubt, fear that wants to come to our lives. People say, would you pray for me? And why are you asking for prayer? Well, because you're seeking some sort of answer, but you're seeking it in fear and doubt, stress and worry, wondering if it's going to be so. So the fine art of prayer is that of believing it is already accomplished. And so through affirmative prayer, praying in the affirmative, praying in the way that says, this I know to be true, this I know is my reality, this I know is the answer, and I've already received it, and I'm grateful for it, and I am so full of appreciation for it. That kind of prayer treatment then treats the subconscious. And the subconscious now lives out and acts the belief that you've just professed, that you've planted deep within. And it now responds. The source now is liberated to respond in this beautiful way. For the scripture teaches, far greater is he that is in you, that is in the subconscious mind, than he that is in this world, in the conscious mind. Conscious mind is full of all kinds of monkey chatter, you know? All these thoughts of worry, stress, fear. What do you about this? What about that? It's going on and on. The thoughts are racing through our heads constantly. That's the world, the physical. Our conscious mind is caught up with that which we're seeing and touching and smelling and tasting, all the five senses. But what is greater is in you, and that's the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is that dwelling place, the fertile soil of the affirmative words that you've planted in, now springing forth and giving life. And that's the beauty of the power of faith in our lives. So remember this. There must be no conflict in your mind when you are praying. No conflict. No, I'm not sure. I don't know, because the answer to your prayer is in your prayer. And if you're praying, God, I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't believe it's going to happen. I'm not really thinking it's going to be so. What's the answer to your prayer? Just that. And when you pray and say, God, I'm grateful. Divine source, I'm grateful. Universe, I'm so grateful. The very desire of my heart, that which I prayed for believing is now my reality. And I live as so. No conflict. Just affirmative. Faith in action. Turn from what is to what ought to be. And here's our problem. We are constantly praying from what is, not praying what ought to be. So faith is the expression of that which we believe to be true. It is speaking it out as this is what ought to be, not what I'm seeing in front of me. You're not really addressing the person you're praying for as I keep seeing them sick. I am praying for this person and they are so sick, and oh my Lord, they're just so sick. And if that's the perspective you're coming from, then that's more of what you're creating as a reality. But when you begin to say, I see this person, I visualize, I hold in imagination, I see already this powerful healing, and I see this person rising up and walking. I see this person living in health and wholeness. That's where we're turning from what is to what ought to be. Then we want to remember that assume the feeling or capture the mood of that fulfilled desire. What does it feel like to be healed? What does it feel like to be prosperous, successful? What does that feel like? And then by the universal law of reversibility, you will realize your desire because you're feeling it. It then becomes your reality. And as it becomes your reality, you're going to feel it even more. And that what you feel more of, you will find as a reality. And we see this going back and forth in a beautiful way of accelerating within our lives. So the beautiful thing is to wake up every day and to begin to see and feel your success, your abundance, your blessing, your health and wholeness, your perfection, because that's where you want to live from. when you wake up expressing that and feeling that, you set the course for an amazing day that begins to create that reality that accelerates then with even more confirmation of that thinking, which then accelerates even more of an effect within your life. So let's do this work together. Let's really change our lives and change our world through the power of our thinking and embracing this and making this transition within our life that we're thinking in new ways. So what we want to do is, number one, use that master key, and that master key is prayer. And that prayer is this wonderful power of controlled imagination or visualization. It is faith, 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 that work. I can't say it enough. And when you realize the answer is here, what happens is then that realization becomes your reality. It manifests. It's that simple law, for the science reveals this. The science says if heat can produce mechanical motion, what happens? Mechanical motion produces heat. So we understand our spirituality from the scientific perspective. What we want to walk away with truly is understanding that we have a power to call things as they ought to be. And knowing that as we do so, the things that we call forth become then our reality. Romans chapter 4:17. He calls things that are not seen as though they were. And the things that were not seen become seen. Wow. That needs to be a model for our day-to-day living. When we embrace that and live from that consciousness, what rises up then within the subconscious, we plant that seed in, that becomes our main belief, that which I'm speaking to be true is true. That which I'm speaking to be real for me is real. And as we live from that perspective, it is our reality. Well, thank you so much for being part of this class, and we're going to welcome some comments and input as to what your takeaway is from this time that we've shared together. Let's start. I think we already have a comment coming in.
Yes, from Josephine.
Josephine, great.
She said, I like that you recognize the importance of abundance and that we are okay to deserve wealth. In fact, the more we have, the more we can give and help others. We have more to share. This is okay as long as we do not get attached to the material, for as long as we are not dependent on the material for our sense of worth.
See, one of the great ways to not be attached to the material is to constantly share the material. So by giving a portion away, what happens is it lessens the, shall we say, the desire to hoard or to be so attached. Because if we know that we can give it away, we are walking in the feeling that, well, there's more to come. And if we constantly live in what we call divine flow, then knowing that we can give because more is coming our way, we can give and we can share because more is coming our way. And what happens is we never become attached to it then. We just allow divine flow to be at work. And we have the right to celebrate this divine abundance and prosperity. Because you're so right, Josephine. What we have to do is to understand that what we're receiving is this wonderful gift that enables us to share, to give, and to be generous. And to do so knowing that more is yet coming in. And not to be ashamed of our prosperity or fearful of it. I have to let go of that crazy belief that came from my childhood. Because I believe in my prosperity. I believe in the blessings of God. God has always taken care of me. I believe it so much that I don't really care. I've never asked the salary before I've taken a job. Why? Because I know God's taken care of me. The church isn't necessarily taking care of me, or the place of employment isn't taking care of me. The divine source is taking care of me. Divine source may be working through the church or through my place of employment. But I know the divine source is the one where all good comes. So I need not be that concerned. I need to be more concerned about, am I in the right place than am I receiving the right amount of money? When we shift our thinking, we're in this divine flow. And we release these crazy beliefs that we can be attached to, being ashamed of prosperity or afraid of prosperity or not thinking that prosperity is ours. Another comment.
Okay, Ty Thornton.
Ty, great to have you.
The state of feelings and the power of realization of the I can will be our reality. Live in the realm of I can.
I love it. Ty, I hope every day you're living in the realm of I can. I love that. That will be your key to your great success. Is there others? Now let's share from this room here tonight. Let's hear from Anne. What is your takeaway from tonight's?
So as I sat in my lawn chair today in the backyard in the sun, I said, ho hum, it's too hot to play music. I can't see my phone. I think I'll just sit here and get hot. No, I will travel down the road of the five senses. So I looked at the sky and I experienced the grass on my feet and all that, which took me to joy, which brings me into the present moment. Going on along that journey is that the realization that I and my backyard are one spiritually.
Beautifully. I and the backyard are one spiritually, yes.
And whatever I do, I better take care of my backyard. I better be kind to it because, in essence, I'm doing that to myself. Because we're one.
That beautiful sense of oneness. I love that. Yes, when we embrace the sense that we are one with everything. And Anne particularly feeling one with her backyard and saying, I need to take care of my backyard. I need to bless my backyard because my backyard is blessing me. Beautiful. Great takeaway. Let's go to Dr. David Carter. What's your takeaway tonight?
I really like the statement, prayer is the art of believing that which the five senses denies.
Beautiful. The five senses keep saying, it can't, it doesn't smell right, it doesn't taste right, it's not possible, it doesn't feel right, this or that. You are constantly going on with its negative emotions. Prayer is that power that assumes. Great. Let's talk to Steve Ginn. What's your takeaway tonight?
That a lot of what we have to exercise is how we deal and see feedback loops. You talked about this earlier in the first half about we have to constantly think about this has happened, this has already arrived, it's here. And the moment it manifests, when we build on that. We don't just say that's it. We have to build on that so we can go on to the next step and the next step and build a feedback loop. The trick is, though, is that most of us have entertained, and now it feels like it's natural, a negative feedback loop.
Right.
I can't do it. It won't happen. It's gonna go bad again, and then we try and justify it by saying I'm just facing facts.
Right.
I hear that a lot.
Right.
If we want to grow, if we want to become, not only in our spirituality, but in terms of just our overall quality of life, actually to experience true joy, then it will take some effort to actually try and get out of that negative feedback loop in order to build up a positive feedback loop. Because apparently success and failure is based on feedback loops.
Yep.
And our attitudes that are either in control or subservient.
Excellent. Thank you. Now, those of you who are joining us through live streaming, if you have a comment or something you'd love to share, we always invite that. So please type in those comments. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to give you a little heads up of what's coming up just around the corner. We're going to begin a class in just about 7 weeks, and I'm announcing it early so you can get a chance to order our workbook. It's the Basic Principles of Science of the Mind by Frederick Bales. This 12-lesson home study course is excellent for you to grasp some of the foundational basics. Many of you may be saying, I love what I'm hearing, but I'm not sure I'm getting it all. So I'd love for you to make sure that you go to Amazon and order your book in advance. You can find some of these copies that are used, and so you'll find them at very reasonable rates. You may want to buy a brand new one just for you so you can write in all the notes yourself, or write in or draw lines or notes in the side of your workbook. So it's really yours. So make sure you check out Amazon.com and go to the place where you can look at all these incredible books. It is the Basic Principles of the Science of Mind. It's coming up in 7 weeks. So you can order your book. And if you're ordering, again, I said used books, sometimes that may take 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get to you. So we encourage you to order that book in advance so you can study along with us, because this is going to give us some of the great foundations that maybe you still have some missing understanding, missing components that are just not plugged in. And we want to get back to some great basics to build a strong foundation of our understanding of our spiritual life and our spiritual journey. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Reverend Dr. Paul Gretz. I'm so glad that you're with us tonight. If you enjoyed this class and you found some spiritual enrichment, something that's touching your life, I encourage you to share in a generous donation for the Emerson Institute here at City of Light and the incredible work it's doing. You can go to our website at www.cityoflightatlanta.com, and there's a donate button. And your gifts will enable us to continue this ministry in exciting and new ways. So we encourage your support. We appreciate it greatly. We're filled with gratitude. We know already that we are walking in blessings. So we're very excited about the future for Emerson Institute and the future for your spiritual life as well. Exciting things are unfolding, for we live in the realm of expectancy. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. We hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. or whenever time you are viewing these classes. I'm looking forward to connecting with you each week as we study together the Neville Reader and the power of imagination and great faith in our life. God bless you.